Hey guys, my name is Koushik and welcome back to LetCode. So in our previous video, we learned about the code gen as well as the PDF gen. Today in this video, we are going to learn about the dialog or how to handle the alerts using Playwright. So it's going to be very simple. If you know Selenium, it's going to be more of like same. The syntactic sugar is going to change, but we'll learn that in detail today. Okay. So there are basically three types of JavaScript alert. One is this guy called simple alert, which will have like only one button. This is okay, that means like accept, or it can be also like dismiss based on the implementation of the website. Then we have the confirm alert, that means like we'll have like two buttons, one is the okay and another one is the cancel. And then we have this prompt alert in the sense like we can enter some data. For example, I can just give my name and I can do the accept, so that will basically like it's like getting the input from the user. Okay, so these three are your JavaScript. Apart from that, also we have this modern alert, also known as sweet alert. Sweet alert is basically nothing but like here you can see like X button, right? So we have to find that icon or the button or whatever the element, and then we have to say dot click. So it is not part of your JavaScript alert, it is just an element in your page. Okay, so most people got confused with this, like this alert, this is not your JavaScript alert. See, if I do like right click, I can inspect this one, then definitely it's not part of your JavaScript alert. But when there is a JavaScript alert, you can see I'm doing the right click, but I'm not able to interact. So whenever there is an alert, we have to handle it, then only we can move to other things. Okay, but the best part of Playwright is that it can handle the dialogues automatically, so we don't have to write code, but I will tell you when we have to also write the code. So like for example, let's say that I have this simple alert. By default it will just one button is there, it will just do the accept. When I have this confirm alert, it will just do the cancel. If I have prompt alert, again it will do the cancel automatically, even without writing any code. But for example, when we have this prompt alert, of course we have to get the inputs from the user, right? So definitely we should handle that as well. We'll see that now. And by the way, just for your knowledge, these alerts are very old in JavaScript. Like in modern UI, modern website, we mostly don't see this kind of alerts. Okay, because mostly we see something like this modern alert, or also like toast notifications or the snack bar. This alerts are actually outdated, but still we have in few websites, so it's good to learn as well. And this is the documentation. I will leave the link in the description as usual. Here you can see like it says like dialogues are dismissed automatically unless we use the listeners. Okay, so let's go and see what are the ways we can handle this. Okay, so we are in the day 6 package and there is a class called learn alerts. And then as usual, we have the main method. Within this, we are just getting the instance of Playwright, the browser with head mode, and then we are navigating to this particular site. Now I want to click on this simple alert. So here I can see like we have a CSS of accept. So I can just go and do the click. So let me do this, and this how it is your TypeScript syntax. So I can just remove it. And this is how we have to do the click action. Okay, and then followed by yeah, so let's say that once I click on this accept alert, this alert will appear, right? I mean, when I click on this button, this alert will appear. So here I can see like I have a text called welcome to LetCode. So I want to print that, right? So what we can do is we can get the text. Okay, so within the alert we have like 4 functions. One is accept, dismiss, and type, and default value and message. So we have 5 functions. In Selenium, what we do, like once we click on the button, after that we'll get the alert, and once we got the alert, then we'll say like driver.switch to alert. But in Playwright it's different architecture. First of all, we have to use the handler, or also known as event listener. For example, here I have to say like page dot on dialog, and then it's going to accept the consumer. So let me write the syntax, maybe I will explain that in a bit. Okay, so dialog equal to, and if I want to do multiple actions, I can use the curly braces. If I want to do single action, I don't even have to use the curly braces. So here I can say like dialog dot accept. Okay, so accept in the sense like, of course it's going to click on the OK. In this case, even if I say dismiss, that's also going to click on this OK button. Okay, so here I'm going to print the text of the alert. Okay, so remember one thing, whenever I say text, in the sense like this is the text of the alert, like hey, welcome to LetCode. But this one, right, letcode.in says that is part of your browser, not part of your DOM, so of course you cannot take that one. So here I'm going to say like dialog, not this one, dialog dot message is the function. Okay, so if I go within this accept, here you can see like we have this dialog interface, and if I give control plus O, here you can see all the functions. So accept is basically your overloaded functions. We can pass the test data, like whatever the data we want to enter into the alert, and then we have default value, dismiss, message, and the type. Okay, so I'll teach one by one. Let's go and see this one first. Okay, I'm going to right click and run as. I'm going to use the Java application. Okay, so it was really fast. You cannot see anything like when the click happened and when the alert appears. But here if you go to the console, you can say like, hey, welcome to LetCode. So we got this message. Okay, now if I want to do dismiss, I can just call the function like dismiss, and if I run this now, of course it's going to do the dismiss. In this case, it's very simple. We cannot see like what's actually happening, but in based on your website implementation, maybe you can see different outcomes. Okay, so here again you can see like, hey, welcome to LetCode, we got this. Now what we are going to do is we are going to so for confirm alert also it's same, you can accept or dismiss. To accept, you can call the function accept, and then you can dismiss. So let's go with the prompt alert. So here we have a ID called prompt. I'm going to copy and paste over here, and I'm going to, here I'm going to say like accept, and then followed by I'm going to pass some data. Okay, so accept is basically overloaded function. For example, here I can pass my name. Okay, and once I pass my name, I will get this text content. So here we have like something like ID name, so I'm going to use the get text. Okay, and I can do the sys out actually. So okay, so that's it, really cool. Now let's go and run this. Let's see what happens. And page.on dialog in the sense like until the page get discarded. Page in the sense like the object that we have created is going to destroyed. Like when we call the page.close, it will be destroyed, right? So until that, one listener is enough to handle your alerts. And by when it's running, you might also see that like we got the alert, right? So if I go to my console, you can say like enter your name, that is the message, and your name is Koushik, that is the text content from the DOM. Okay, so apart from this, we have also few other methods. For example, if I go to this particular site, so if I click on this, here you can select it within the prompt alert, it says like enter name. So if you want to get this particular value, you can use the function called get dialog dot default value. Okay, so this will return the string, so you can just print that one. Okay, so in my case, I don't have this particular default value in the alert, so if I use this, nothing will happen. It will just return a empty strip, not empty, I think it will return null, I guess. Okay, let's go and run this now. Let's check that one. Yeah, so we got this empty string, okay, which is fine. Okay, now there is a interesting thing we have to learn actually, which nobody talks. Okay, so here we have like page.on dialog, and I say that it is going to be there until the page is getting destroyed, right? So that means like this particular thing should work for all the alert, right? So when I click on the accept, that is the simple alert, it should also do. So it will, of course, it will do the message, it will print the message, and there is no default value, so we'll get empty. But within the accept we have this test data, but whereas simple alert doesn't um takes any input, right? What will happen? Nothing will happen. It will work since it doesn't have the text box. It will just ignore that one, and it will do the dismiss actually. Okay, not dismiss, since we have called the accept, it will do the accept. Okay, and when I use this prompt, the next one, like this one, so I'm sorry, not prompt, this, yeah, I mean this prompt alert, of course it has this message, so definitely it will go and write. So for example, let me go and run this and show to you. So basically, like once we call the on dialog, it should work until the page is destroyed, but there might be a situation where we have to handle different types of alert. For example, here you can see like it worked fine and there is no exception. That means of course our code is working fine and this is very sufficient. But let's say that when we have multiple prompt alerts, okay, so in the first prompt alert I want to pass my name, and in the second prompt alert I want to pass my last name. So this is my first name and I want to pass my last name, so of course I cannot use the same, right? So what we have to do is we have to use the off dialog. So for example, here I have to say like page dot off dialog, and here I have to pass this keyword, but we cannot use the this keyword within the lambda expression directly. Okay, so what we have to is we have to get the consumer and we have to use it. But before that, if you do not know what this code is all about, what is this lambda thing itself, let me explain. If you know this, you can skip the video. That's it for the alert. It's very simple. We have like 5 methods. One is the type. So this one type basically returns like if it's simple alert, confirm alert, or the prompt alert, you can just print and check it. It's going to return the string, so it's going to be really simple. Okay, so coming back to this, let me explain this one. So for example, let's say that not here, let's say that we have a class. Okay, so class my dialog, and which is going to implement the consumer interface, that is from java.util.functions.consumer, and here I have to give the type, which is going to be dialog from Playwright. Okay, and this is how we write a class and we implement the interface, right? So when we do the implement, of course we have to override the functions. So in this consumer we have only one function, that is accept. So you can see the accept type is basically the type we have passed here. For example, this is going to be my dialog, right? Now what I can do is I can simply say like whatever the things I want to do. So I can just copy or cut from here. Let me comment this for now, and I can write it here. Okay, now instead of like this thing, what I can do is I can simply call like my class. Okay, so I have to, of course I have to create the object. So here I can say like consumer dialog, let's name it like dialog equal to, or let me name it like alert just for understanding, new my dialog, and that's it. So here I can pass my alert. Okay, so if I go and execute this, of course it's going to work. There's no difference. What we have done previously is the arrow syntax, that is lambda expression, but instead of lambda expression we have written a class, and then we have implemented the consumer, and consumer have only one function, that is accept, and within that we have written our typical java code. This is how we call the class, consume, I mean interface, and override, right? So this is like till java 1.7, this is the same thing, but in java.8 and above we have the lambda expression. So if I go and run this now just to show you, it worked, right? So we can say like it worked, right? That's fine. Okay, now instead of writing it here like this, what we can also do is, we know that in JDK we have a feature called anonymous class, right? So for example, I can simply say like I can simply call the class directly, like the consumer, I mean the interface directly, and here itself I can do the implementation. So I know that it has a function called this one, and override should not be here. So this is my anonymous class, right? So I don't even need this particular class. I can just delete or comment, and here I can use the same. So this is also going to work very same. So instead of writing like a class as my dialog and then doing the implementation, here directly we can write the anonymous class, the functions, right? So if I go within the consumer, you can see like it's a functional interface, and it is applicable for the functional interface. Okay, and it is from JDK 1.8. Now coming back to this again, so how does this work? In the sense like the same way, like if I remove this, then this is going to be your lambda expression. That's a very simple thing. Okay, so for example, I can just let me copy and paste. Okay, so here what we are going to do is, we are going to remove this particular guy. So basically we know that this is going to accept the dialog, so dialog is not required, the generic type is not required. I can remove that, and also I can remove this new consumer, and within this I don't need a function, because this has only one function, right? So I can remove from here to here. Okay, and this should be removed. This is semicolon, and to make it like lambda expression, of course we have to use this arrows index. So what we have done, we have removed the function name, we have removed the new consumer, okay, the creation part. And since we have like only one data type, I don't have to state the data type. Even the curly braces is also not needed. Okay, this is fine. Now the same thing, what, like here we are passing the alert, right? So instead of like passing it alert, we can just use this within this. Okay, so this is how it works actually. So if I remove the semicolon, this is what, so this is what we have previously as well. Okay, but the problem here is, within this I cannot use this keyword. Okay, I cannot use the this keyword. So again I have to use the consumer interface. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to quickly uncomment this one, and let me comment it out. This is just for your understanding. Okay, now why it's commented again? Yeah, okay. Now what we are going to do is, as I stated earlier, so when we have like, let's say that we have two prompts, one is the enter first name, and then again we have another prompt where I have to enter my last name, right? So for that, of course, I need two page dialog. So one is the like page dot on dialog, then I have to use another page dialog. For example, okay, let's say that here we have the simple alert, right? So I'm going to do like dialog dot dismiss. Okay, and once that is done, here I'm going to say like page dot on dialog, and here let's say that we are going to get the alert where I want to do all this stuff. Okay, so here since we already used the alert, that's why we are getting error. Let me make it like A, and here also A, and here also A. Okay, so let me control A and control I to align the code. Okay, so here you can select, we have on dialog, and then we have on dialog again. So basically once I accept the alert, this will be handle, and when I click on this, this should be handle, right? But that is not my case. That's not going to be the actual case here. It's going to end up with an exception. We cannot have multiple on dialog until we off a dialog. Okay, I know this video is very lengthy, but the alert part is very easy. Only the understanding the Java consumer concept is bit lengthy here. Okay, so here you can select cannot accept dialog, which is already handled. So basically, like, we cannot have two handlers within the same script. But if I off this handler, then I can use this handler. Now how to off this handler, in the sense, like, for example, let's say that instead of writing like this, here already I have this alert, right? So I have returned the accept function. So what I'm going to do is, here I'm going to say like page dot off dialog, and then I can pass like this, which will represent this particular thing. Okay, now what can I do is, I can simply say like page dot on dialog. Okay, so when I say like on dialog and alert, what is this alert? This alert is basically like it will yeah, so here we don't have to accept with the data. So let me comment this one. So we are going to do the, let's say that we're going to do the dismiss. Okay, and once we handle the alert, then we are also saying like we want to off this dialog. Okay, on in the sense like it will trigger the event, off in the sense like it will just turn off the events. Okay, then we have like on dialog, another one. So this will be my active one. So if I go and run this now, then there won't be any problem. So if you see, this on and off will be little difficult to understand in the very beginning, but eventually this is going to rock at the end. Okay, so here you can see like we got this, guys, and yeah, that's it. Very cool. Okay, so yeah, so here we are actually using the default value, so that's why it got me like empty string, because there is nothing. So if you want to print this one, so once I click on, so enter your name, right? So just to confirm one more time, what we will do, instead of default message, I will make it like message, so that will return me the actual message. If you know already Java 1.8 and above, and if you know the consumer interface, the lambda expression, it's going to be really easy. But if you do not know, I will try my best to make you understand. Actually, I thought of creating a playlist of all the consumer interface, all those, and then starting the Playwright, but I thought like, let's give it a try in this way. Yeah, so that's it. Here you can select, we got both the alerts. This is how we have to handle multiple alerts if you have. Okay, and this thing, page dot on dialog, and obviously you should use the page dot off dialog to turn it off, the listeners, and then you can have another listener, but you cannot have the same listeners, multiple listener within the same script at the same time. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you have learned the consumer interface. A lot of things are there to learn in consumer interface. If you know JavaScript, I will just give you a quick tip. That is how I learned this Java new things. So if you see, this is basically your callback function. That's it. So on dialog is going to return me the dialog, and from there I can do whatever I want. This is your callback function in JavaScript. The same thing in Java. This is how I see the syntactic sugar, but of course the implementation is really, I don't like it, man. You have to call the consumer, you have to do that. Yeah, I will leave up to you. My part is done here. Okay, and as usual, of course, you will get your homework here. So if I go to this assignment 4, you have to go to this particular site, which is this one, and here you have like simple alert, the confirm, the JavaScript alert. So you can do this, or else you can also go to bootstrap alert, which is kind of like your this guys. So these are really cool. You can try with sweet alert as well. So here you can select, this is my close and save changes are coming, which is your not alert. Okay, see carefully, this thing I can go and inspect. So of course this is not your JavaScript alert. For that you don't even need like page.on, page.off things. Okay, and by the way, all the codes whatever we are going to write, you can find it in my GitHub repository. So if you go to this repository, Playwright Java 23, because we are mostly end of the year, right? So here you can see the playlist which is available both in Tamil and English. And if you go to the SSC test Java, you will get all the codes. But if you want to learn based on day, so you can just click on this and you can say like day 1 code will be there, and you can get like day 5, day 6. So whatever the code I'm going to do, only that will be reflected within the child branch, whereas master is the default where we'll have like everything. Okay, so yeah, that's it from my side. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one very soon.
6 a.m. and I'm up again. I got tired eyes, need a cup of blend. That's right, in the AM, that's my only friend. No light, just the sun coming up on the horizon. I lose track of time, yeah, I move fast and climb a new class divine, yeah, true passion shines. And I'm through passing time, I choose stacking dimes. You snooze half the time while I move passing by.